You're listening to the Last Man In podcast. Covering Winnipeg hockey and the NHL.
Scheifele dances his way in. Scheifele scores! Mike Wheeler finds the far corner. And the Winnipeg Jets win it in overtime.
Woo, woo, woo.
And we're back. Last Man In podcast number 112. We got a lot to talk about today on the show because there was something that came out on a Saturday, so we decided to jump on it and record on a Sunday.
That's exactly why we're doing it.
We're doing
and not
it
because Dan's out of the country on another scouting report.
It's scouting report, of course.
Different one this time,
Different
but
one.
scouting one nonetheless. And
I'll scout.
I'll be double scouting this week. Jets both times this week. I'll be there.
Oh, nice. So we're doing something different, just to fit it into our schedule. So we're doing the Sunday night program.
Sunday.
This is prime time. We've now moved away from doing a Tuesday show where there's no news to Sunday. So now we know.
But we own the airwaves on Tuesdays.
We should have played the
that's
Sunday
our
NFL,
waves.
the Sunday NFL thing.
I think we could take.
I feel the other thing is something's going to happen on Tuesday. Like
huge.
Jacob Trouba's going to get traded. More on that later, though. We're going to talk more World Cup stuff as the final has been set today. And just whatever other hockey shenanigans we can talk about. But before we get started, even though we're a hockey podcast, we do extend, I guess,
our deepest condolences to the baseball family.
Yeah.
For
all
losing
of
one
MLB.
of the best up-and-coming pitchers in the league, Jose Fernandez, Miami Marlins.
And he passed away in a boating accident. I believe yesterday it would have been. This morning?
Yeah.
Or was it this morning?
I got the update on my phone this morning, so I'm assuming at some point in the last 12 hours.
I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning or something.
Why on a boat 3
So, obviously, he's 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a tough loss. So, so I guess I just want to start off on a somber note before we get Dan all riled up talking about Jacob Trouba.
Yeah, let's just bring the mood down before I lose it.
Yeah.
Good.
So, we're going to do... Dan's going to start with a Greg-esque rant about Jacob Trouba. I want you to yell, Dan. I want you to yell.
I've made my peace with it. I'm not going to...
Okay, well, we have to clear up...
Tell everybody what happened.
What happened?
Oh, sorry, if you haven't heard, Jacob Trouba and his camp, so him and his agent, douchebag, I don't even remember his name, but he's douchebag.
We could totally find his agent.
He's known to be a difficult agent.
What's his agent's name? We gotta say it.
He's a prick. Essentially, what...
He's a prick.
We don't know this guy. This guy is the green dinosaur.
He is the green dinosaur.
Ryan Johansson, apparently, which was, how everyone knows how that turned out.
Yeah, Ryan Johansson got a contract.
Yeah, and then they tried to get rid of him right after.
He got a contract, though.
How hard was it for him to get a contract? It was
real hard.
Nightmare.
Nonetheless, so Jacob Trouba came out yesterday that he has now requested a trade. Apparently, they've been working at something since May, all because of the fact that Jacob Trouba wants to play right side only, will not play on the left side. And sorry, when you've got two veterans in Dustin Byfuglien and Tyler Myers who've played longer in the league, have more experience than you,
are better.
You're not going to get that opportunity.
Pull up his statement, because hold on.
I will pull it up and then I will go on.
Because his statement, he doesn't say he's better than any of them. He says he wants more opportunity.
He just wants more opportunity.
So
and I'm fine with that.
Hang on.
But lefty.
I'll pull it up. I'm going to go.
He's played, okay, well, while Dan's finding it, he's played right-handed D his entire life. I understand, and he also understands he's behind Byfuglien and Myers. So, but he believes that he wants to play top 4 minutes on the right side.
Okay, here we go.
He's been playing.
And before before Dan starts, Trouba nor his agent ever said that he was better. They're like, to the Jets' credit, they have two great right-handed shots in Myers and Byfuglien already. It's just he feels that he doesn't need to play left defense. We'll get into more of that later, but Dan, you can go
I can't
off.
find his... Hang on, I'm trying to find the statement.
The actual statement.
What I'll say. I get that maybe you're not happy with your spot in the team. That's fine. For the majority of... I'd say probably a good 2 of the first 3 years, he was stuck on the third pair. For a guy who's supposed to be your future franchise, that's... I wouldn't be happy with where I am. But to say, I can't play on the right side, so I want to be traded, is stupid. I'm sorry, but...
Don't apologize. This isn't a safe space.
I know there's been, over the last 2 years, this whole, right-handed defensemen are so important. That's fine. When you're drafted as a defenseman, you play defense. You aren't drafted as a right winger or a left winger. You aren't drafted as a right D or a left D. You're drafted as a defenseman.
Wow. It's
an adjustment to switch over, but is it really? I can't play on the right side, so I want to be traded. So my first thought, that's a BS excuse. He might not be happy with it, but I'm sure that's not the whole reason that he wants to be traded. And honest to God, if all he wants is to play on the right side and the Jets really want to keep him, you don't think the Jets would have said, okay, you can play on the right side. Buffalo will play on the left. I don't know. To me, it's upsetting. I was surprised. But, I mean, if he's not happy, that's one thing. But if you want to play right D and you feel you should be at least top 2 pairing right defenseman, instead of taking your ball and wanting to go home, why don't you show up to training camp, say, I'm good enough to beat out one of these 2 guys and prove that you're a good player? Instead of showing no character and saying, yeah, just trade me. I'm not happy. And I'm sorry, but what has he done to prove he's better than Tyler Myers or Dustin Byfuglien? What has he done to prove he deserves a spot over either of those guys? And what has he done to have the right to say, I want to be traded? I don't want to be here.
This is the same
You're
situation.
22 years old. What have you done? And to me, it just shows, honest to God, it shows that his character is a big question mark.
I got a statement. Do you want me to read it?
Okay, yeah.
One more thing. You don't always you don't always get to do what you want. Sometimes you're asked to do things for a team that, I mean, Dustin Byfuglien's played left side, right side, forward. He's done everything. Doesn't necessarily like doing it all, but what does he do? He does it.
Coach asks him to do something.
This to me, it just shows he's putting himself before the team. He thinks he's more important than everybody else, and it's ego. And quite frankly, don't think he's deserved the right to have as much of an ego as he does. That's my opinion. So I mean, I don't know.
Okay, here's the statement. His agent's name is Kurt Overhard from KO Sports Incorporated. Jacob Trouba status with the Winnipeg Jets headline. Our client, Jacob Trouba, will not be attending the Winnipeg Jets NHL training camp. Since May, we have been working together with the Jets management in an effort to facilitate a trade of Jacob's rights. Both parties continue to work on this matter. There has been no negotiation regarding the terms of a contract between our client and the Jets over the course of the last several months. The situation is not about money. It is solely about our client having the opportunity to realize his potential as a right-shot NHL defenseman. To the Jets' credit, the club has 2 outstanding right-shot veteran defensemen, and our client simply wants the opportunity to have a greater role. As a consequence of the Jets' depth on the right side, we believe it is in both parties' best interest to facilitate a mutually advantageous trade. Our client has nothing but respect for the people and city of Winnipeg, the Winnipeg Jets, its fans and management and ownership. Our desire to get him moved has everything to do with opportunity. We will continue to work with the Jets in good faith to achieve this end.
So, as far as everything was leading, he was going to be top pair left defenseman this year.
Yep.
So what more of an opportunity do you want? I want to play on the right side. I'm sorry.
Well,
because if you start on the left side, you're not going to get moved to the right potentially, or if a guy gets hurt, things aren't going to change, or if the team's not doing well, they're not going to switch things up. To me, it's such a... I get if he wants to play on the right side, whatever, but to say, I want to be traded because I can't play on the right side, it's quite frankly, it's bullshit. He might not be happy about it, but if that's the whole reason he wants to be traded, then he's got a whole whack of other problems. Because he needs to get knocked down off his pedestal. Because, quite frankly, it's an adjustment, but if I can play right and left side defenseman playing beer league hockey, then a professional hockey player can do it. I'm sorry, but I just think it's BS. He doesn't want to be here, and that's fine. He's allowed to think that, but
you're allowed your preferences when you play hockey, but doesn't mean you have to do them all the time.
No.
But where does he get the right to say these things? One of them would be, well, he is a part of a players' association, which will back him up in this situation. So you are allowed to have your opinion and your thoughts, and that's why one of his is he's much more comfortable and effective, or he believes that he's much more comfortable and effective on the right side, where he's played, I'm assuming his whole career at this point, like hockey career, let alone professional, but also before he was a professional. So, I mean, you're used to one thing, you can't just...
Okay.
There's a grace period, I guess, but I guess he doesn't like that period at the
Okay, I'm just going to move this to football terms for a second. There's two different football players that come to mind when I think about position. Currently, they play in the NFL. There's Julian Edelman and Terrell Pryor Sr., I believe, or Junior, one or the other.
Okay.
They both had time of playing quarterback, whether it's high school or college, and actually Terrell Pryor was drafted as a quarterback. Realized that maybe I can't make it as a quarterback in the NFL, but damn, I'm fast enough to make it as a wide receiver. So what does he do? He changes his position because he knows what it takes, personal sacrifice, even though he wants to be the guy that's a quarterback. That's a big responsibility, being a quarterback.
He still has enough talent to be in the NFL at other positions.
Exactly. Yeah. And he swallowed his pride and said, you know what, I'm not going to force myself to try at something when I have a perfect opportunity here. So clearly there's something wrong with Jacob. He doesn't feel the opportunity is right enough for him. And the truth of the matter is, Jets just can sit on this as long as they want. And you know what? They don't really care. If he doesn't play this season, it's no skin off their back. It'd be great to get a guy, but this just means you can try out Brandon Kitchen more. You can bring up Julian Melchiori. You can bring up Josh Morrissey. There's opportunity now for guys to come up. You could also see them now move a guy that's in that cloudy area of their bottom six of those 11 guys that are going to fit in that bottom six. You can move one or two of those guys and now get a skilled, well, not a skilled, but you could get a serviceable defenseman.
In camp so far, the pairing's been Myers and Morrissey. Morrissey's the left shot, so.
And
Morrissey played one game last year, I believe, in Montreal. Mm-hmm. He was paired with Myers.
Yeah.
I don't know do we remember what hand Logan Stanley is? Is he left or right?
I think he's right based off. I don't recall. Okay. I don't remember.
And that's a fair point, and this is why I think it's ridiculous. You're not asking the guy to play forward. You're not asking the guy to play goalie. You're asking him to move to the other side of the ice. Really?
One of the other defensemen, obviously not
because
comparable.
Wingers never flip flop, right?
Not compare. Yeah,
but it's a different position,
and they're drafted as left and right wingers. They're
not drafted as forwards. Wingers is different. The only difference with winger versus defense, it's all about the angles and how you play it, and maybe you're just stronger on a certain foot to be able to force guys. But I don't know what it is because I don't play the same level as hockey as they do. None of us do, but. Nor have any of us have, but I don't see where the issue lies on what position you play. Because I play every position on the ice and have tons of fun whatever position I play. And I also know that if I go to a team for the first time, I'm not going to get to pick a position I want to play. You have to earn that right. So you play until you get... And realistically, who says in 3 years that Tyler Myers or Dustin Byfuglien are on this team?
Exactly.
They're signed, but who says they're here?
Yeah. Logan Stanley's left-handed.
Left-handed?
So
okay.
There you go.
Just gives him more opportunity as well.
People wondered why they moved up to take him, and if the trade request was made in May, maybe that was a backup plan. I don't know.
I think Jacob Chychrun was I'm upset they didn't get Chychrun.
But I think them drafting a left-handed defenseman in the first round was a backup plan. In case they could... I mean, I don't know.
So now we have to think. Where's he going and for what?
I have a question to ask, too. If this trade, I get that the reason they probably haven't traded him is because I wouldn't be surprised if they still try and sign him.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
If they try and wait him out, or you know what, I think they'll.
It's happened with Ryan Johansson. It
happened with Drouin 6 months ago. It's a strong arm play by their camp to get exactly what they want, and the thing is though is when you come out like this. And it hurts the dressing room, as Matthew Perreault said in his statements today, which Dan, I think you have for us. I couldn't find a good. He basically said something along the lines of, and I'm going to try and do this
paraphrasing.
He literally said he plays 22 minutes a game already. How much ice time does he want? He literally said that, and he said, he also said you just came in the league and you think you can ask for a trade. He said he's hurting himself more by not showing up than helping himself. And he said, if he doesn't show up and we get off to a good roll in the season, he said it basically shows that we don't need him. Yeah. He literally said that.
Yeah.
He was the one guy that, I'm sure the other guys were thinking it, but they just kind of.
He said what was on everyone's mind. I think.
Yes.
It's a very selfish move, but sometimes you have to put yourself ahead of everyone. But at the same time, you have to think, is this going to hurt him further down in his career? So now we have to think, where realistically is he going to go and for what price?
And I think the Jets will take a look at what the offers are right now, and if they don't like it, they're just going to let him sit.
No, exactly.
Maybe he changes his mind. Maybe someone comes with a better offer in a month or two.
They're not going to be trigger happy.
If he doesn't sign with someone by December 1st, he sits out the whole year.
I know.
And I think he becomes a UFA at the end of the
Even
year.
if they sign him after December 1st.
He can't play.
He can't play.
So why not? So, I mean, for the Jets, if they can't get what they want for him, which apparently they want a left shot defenseman. That's what they want.
Yep.
They don't want a forward, they want a left shot D.
So who do you go for? Who is available?
Well, there's a few articles out. Dan, you go.
My question, I have a question, and I get that maybe, they want a D back, but if you knew in May that he wasn't that he wanted out, why didn't you trade him for Taylor Hall? He's just as good, if not better, than Adam Morrison. I get it doesn't solve their getting a defenseman to replace him problem, but I don't think they're going to get a better player than that right now.
Well, I think
Who's
they
available?
drafted their Taylor Hall and Patrick Laine, right?
I guess, but to me that was a bit of a...
I think they had optimism.
I think so too.
Because as we found out, obviously, that was Chiarelli's option. Was we the first guy they could move out. That was the first option they had. That was the first option that came apparent. PK Subban was never in talks. Like Weber, like those guys were never in talks for trading. Those surfaced later, but yeah, I don't think I don't even know if you could do that, to be honest.
And I think you're right. I think the Jets said we're not going to trade him. We're going to wait him out. We're going to figure it out. I've heard Philly.
They're in everything.
The only thing is,
put a hold on that one. Well,
the name that was suggested, Cam's not going to like very much at all.
Provorov?
Because he's a left-handed D.
No,
But
all their prospects are lefty.
But that's
all of them.
That's a high pick. That's a high pick. So I don't know. I've heard
like Sam Morin would be great.
He's big.
Yeah, Colorado.
I wouldn't necessarily say skill-wise he's amazing.
Well,
who would be number 2 on their like defensive? They have that other guy. I'm blanking on his name.
Well, there's Provorov, Moray, Haig.
Another guy I'm thinking of. He played Team Canada.
He played on. Well, that was Moray.
No, I'm thinking of someone else.
Another defense. I'm drawing blank right now. I haven't even thought about it.
Pretty sure there's another defenseman for Philly that
Well,
I'm thinking of.
Who played on Team Canada?
I'm pretty sure. Because weren't they defensive partners? Moray and this guy were defensive partners.
Not at World Juniors. They only had 2 guys. They had Konechny and Moray.
Oh, okay.
But Moray,
not this year, like 2 years ago.
The thing also, they aren't looking for a prospect. They're looking for a proven guy that can play.
Oh, then you're not going to want either.
You're not going to want.
The guy who's nearest to that is Provorov.
Team that apparently is really interested is Colorado.
For what?
And the only
Shattenkirk.
No, he's supposed to St. Louis.
He's also a right defenseman.
Tyson Berry's name has come up, but that's
he's a right defenseman.
He's right, and that's a big contract for the Jets.
Oli Mata.
Maybe.
It's funny, that's the first team that came to mind. The 3 teams at the score came out with potential suitors would be Leafs, Coyotes, Bruins.
Okay.
But
so,
they
Jake Gardner.
See left shot?
Yes. I don't think he's... The problem is I think Jacob Trouba's ceiling is a lot higher than Jake Gardner. This is as good as Jake Gardner is going to be.
They would have to add some.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And you would maybe be able to get a player...
we can name the 3 no-nos off the top that Toronto won't budge on. It's Marner, Matthews, and...
Riley.
Nylander.
And Riley.
Morgan Riley, they won't
Well,
trade
no,
him.
yeah, I'm not talking... I'm saying, like, prospect-wise. Like, if there's going to be a prospect thrown in...
I don't think the Jets will do it for a prospect.
They'll
do it for a roster player and
JVR?
a prospect.
No. Too much... Toronto does not want to get rid of JVR's contract. He is going to be there for
then at that point you're looking at...
And the Jets don't... I don't think the Jets want him. Or the contract.
The only other prospect that I could think...
Connor Brown?
Like, maybe?
Timashov?
If you want to get into defensemen, well, no, I don't think they'd get Jeremy Brayco.
See, but then again, why would they just got Zaitsev, who led Russia.
Exactly.
He was a top defense Russia.
They don't need him. Coyotes, I could see, but once again...
They're going to pair because they want Ekman Larson.
Exactly.
Yep.
So who else do they have defensively? Jacob Chychrun, but they want a proven guy. That would be the only guy that I would even think about trading.
No, but then, those three
And then
teams
it
are
gets-
just the score, just named off, potential suitors
And then-
who are in need of D-men. But, they don't necessarily have the pieces to make it happen.
Here's the other thing, too, is if you're the Jets right now, as just a power move, there are two guys still available. Chris Russell and Dennis Seidenberg are still both free agents. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to pay them a ton of money at this point. You can give them $2.5-3 million for 1 year and just sign them to fill in your top four.
And then hold out on Trouba until
Trouba
a better deal comes?
Until the right deal comes or until he signs. And then he's got that role.
I also think if the Jets turn around and trade him this week,
it's too fast.
It's going to make them look bad. It's going to make them look like a guy says he doesn't want to be there. They're like, oh, okay.
But they're not that type of franchise.
They're not that type of franchise. They're going to do what the best. So if there's a deal that knocks their socks off, they'll do it 100%. But
they would have already done it though.
I don't think anyone knew that.
I would not be surprised if they ride it out.
And here's my other question: if this had been actual knowledge since May that he was getting shopped, why didn't a team just offer sheet him?
Maybe he's not worth an offer sheet to them.
Because the Jets will just sign it, and then he's stuck here. The Jets said they'd match it.
Yeah, that's true.
The Jets don't want to get rid of him.
I know they don't.
So if he signs an offer sheet, the Jets will sign it.
Yeah, that's true.
But then it's a situation of, I have to move him now, but now it's like I'm going to take less because I signed him to 6 years.
But and the other thing, too, with this coming out, they lose all advantage that they had.
Oh, balls in...
Yeah.
The other team's court.
Yeah,
because really, when the Buffalo trade happened, it came out of nowhere. We heard the Evander Kane thing, and then he was gone 2 days later. Or whatever it was. The tracksuit incident happened, and then he was gone the same week. But that was a deal that had been in the works for months. They just had to pull the trigger on it.
And maybe there is something that the Jets have in the works.
Rasmus Ristolainen.
You never know.
What's the nearest team? Is that a team? Is he left
Buffalo.
shot?
I don't know.
Is Xavier Ouellet from Detroit a left shot?
I'm
just thinking of teams close to Detroit. Because it seems as though the new trend is I want to play near home.
I don't think any of those players get it done, though. Not even close.
But, see, it's different from the Drew.
He would love to go to Buffalo and play with Bogosian again.
He's from Detroit.
Well, it's close, right? Yeah. Kind of.
He's from Detroit, right? So, I mean, but...
You also don't trade him within your division.
I
think Carolina. Ryan Murphy.
Maybe.
You have an issue with Ryan Murphy?
No issue at all.
You sure?
With Ryan Murphy.
No? His face doesn't bother you?
No. I'll cheer when he scores. Reluctantly.
Or, we could be the outlandish
Jets fans. Ryan Murphy doesn't really get it.
Let's be outlandish Jets fans. We're going to get Aaron Ekblad for him. So let's just be honest here. We're getting Aaron Ekblad.
You know what I saw today on Twitter? A Caps fan was like, guys, we only go to Orlov for a year. How about Carl Alsner, a first? And if they're like, I don't know, we'll toss in Tom Wilson. No one says no to Tom Wilson. I saw a couple Caps fans just talking to each other on Twitter.
We have two of them already.
What's that?
We have two Tom Wilsons already.
Who's that?
Thorburn and Peluso.
Yeah, but Tom Wilson's a young, formidable Tom Wilson. But his contract...
He's younger, he does the same thing.
The number one thing the Jets need to do is...
Weigh their options?
Weigh their options, but get something for him or get him on your team. Because the last thing you want is to have to let him go to Las Vegas for nothing.
You get this deal done before... You know what? They have to get it done by when's Heritage? Get it done a week before Heritage.
They don't have to do anything.
So the jersey sales.
Here's the other thing.
Marketing.
They don't. You have to keep in mind, they don't have to do a damn thing.
They don't care about money. They're rolling in fucking...
Always more.
They're Scrooge McDuck.
There's always more.
Here's two. If they don't like what they have, sit him on the bench, or sit him in the press box, or sit him at home. He's going to be at home. Let him sit at home.
He's not part of the team. Yeah.
Maybe a month or two into the season, a team is in desperate need of a defenseman. Injury, they're not doing well, whatever. Maybe they get a better deal 2 months from now.
Well, that's just...
It's a gamble because if they don't sign him, then they lose him for nothing. But
here's the other thing. If you're a team like Florida, who, let's say, loses Aaron Ekblad because he has a concussion.
He's back. He's training already.
I'm just saying.
Oh, hypothetically,
because he already has issues, or your New York and Ryan McDonough's down, or you're a team that's a competitor, and you lost a top defenseman, That's the first guy on your list. But you also have to. The other issue is he has to sign the deal. You're not just going to get a formidable player unless on the other end they can sign him to a deal.
So an interesting name that I did see. It's a speculation, but I did see.
Jake Muzzin?
He's a left shot, and he was on the block last year. Cam Fowler. He's similar in...
Hampus Lindholm. I'd prefer Hampus.
I'm just saying. He's similar in... He's a little older, but he's similar in... He's left. He's good, but still potentially...
Any of those Anaheim defensemen.
I'm just saying. That could be a potential...
Hampus, what about Vatanen?
Vatanen's right.
Okay.
Lindholm could be another one, too.
Hampus, both of those guys, I'd be interested. Another thing.
How about Dylan McElrath? Just kidding.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want to see a guy that makes Mark Stewart look good?
Yeah, there you go. I'm just trying to think what Montreal. We could take.
But you have to think every
Nathan
team that you're
Beaulieu.
naming.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But I'm
Nathan Beaulieu.
And Trouba plays defense, so Montreal will have a real hard on for that.
I think they'd have to give it more than that, though. That's
Now,
Nathan Beaulieu is
that's
good.
A pretty good.
He's a good defenseman.
No, but it's like a player for player at that point.
Well,
They're
yeah.
just pieces.
Then you just toss piece. They can have Anthony Peluso, and we'll take Alex Galchenyuk. This is how this works.
Sure.
With Michel Therrien there, that's a done deal.
Okay, we're getting next week. We're getting on the phone with our favorite.
Michel?
No, we're gonna call Jim Benning and see what he would do.
I don't know. I heard rumblings that he might even toss in Oli Juolevi. I don't know.
Could you imagine if they
Is Oli
Bo
left?
Horvat and Oli Juolevi?
What?
Yeah. Jimmy's going on a bender
Okay.
next weekend. That's what he's doing.
What the Jets want: left-handed defenseman, same caliber and age, around the same age.
So
Okay,
Nathan
so what
Beaulieu,
you just did is Nathan Beaulieu,
Jake Gardner.
Cam Fowler.
Hampus Lindholm.
Cam Fowler's a little older.
He's-
but-
I think
2
Cam
years
Fowler
older.
is 20.
Oh, that counts. And
He was drafted in 2010.
Oh, perfect.
So
Say,
so our list-
we can name it. We can narrow this to specific players.
our list is essentially Cam Fowler, Hampus Lindholm, Nathan Beaulieu, Jake Gardner, obviously Morgan Riley, but he's never going to get traded.
No.
Then you got to look at other left-handed shots on other teams.
Oh no. Oh
Who did the Kings have to offer? Because they have lost
Muzzin.
Voinov. Maybe. Is he left?
He's left. He plays with Doughty.
Maybe. I don't know if they'd part with him, though.
I don't think they would either. Who else? Gostisbehere?
Yeah, right.
Don't do this to me.
Gostisbehere.
No.
What would you do if Gostisbehere...
Ghost Bear got traded for Winnipeg, I'd be pretty upset.
I know one podcast listener who thinks that Gostisbehere just can't play defense.
Nothing's wrong with having 4 offensive-minded players on the ice at all times. Nothing's wrong with that. And I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We've had this same discussion.
We have.
Ghost
like
Bear's
Greg
left
said,
shot. So, yeah, he fits the criteria.
there's a couple
oh,
free-
God, don't! No! No!
Ghost
Don't!
Bear.
No!
Ghost
What if,
Bear.
though? Then we have a...
They wouldn't.
Then
do
their
that.
top pairing, hold on.
wouldn't.
It's going to be Trouba and Dan's favorite player. That would be Dan's most hated defensive pairing of all time.
Gostisbehere
And
with...
Trouba. No, it'd be Gudis and Trouba.
Oh, Gudis and Trouba!
No. I'm saying Dan, like,
Good,
really.
Good. His career can die.
No, there you go. That's
Why is Gudis your top pairing defenseman?
Because he is. That's the top pair. They
Mark
start
Streit
everything.
is better.
Well, Mark
terrible.
Streit plays with Andrew McDonald, okay?
That's
And then
a
we have-
waste of
and
money.
then Nick Schultz
Both
plays
those
with
guys
Ghost
are
Bear.
better.
Quick question. Calvin DeHaan, New York Islanders.
Yeah.
His skill. What... Like, obviously, we don't hear about him because he's an Islander.
Guys, are we going to...
Are we doing another Travis Hamonic thing here?
Wham! He's left
But
shot, is
he's
he?
right-handed.
Oh,
But
yeah,
like
right.
Greg said, and he doesn't want to be traded anymore.
Yeah.
Calvin DeHaan's a lefty?
Calvin DeHaan's left.
But like Greg said, there's free agents they could sign if they get a really good deal for a
That's
forward.
like 6
But
teams right off the hop that keep your
here's-
eye on.
Here's the other thing. What if, and this is definitely far-fetched and not going to happen at all, but what if Winnipeg's like, okay, so we need to get rid of Enstrom, and we need to get rid of
Oh,
Trouba.
shit.
What?
I know who you're thinking of. Travis Sanheim.
That's who I was thinking of.
He's probably going to be in the AHL this year, though, but that would be...
That's who I'm thinking of, yes. Travis Sanheim.
Too young.
You know,
Let's go-
he's 20.
He's 20. But
True.
no.
Yeah, but they want someone that's already in the
No,
NHL.
yeah, I know.
They
But
want
that
someone
was the
that they
player
can
that
plug
I
on
was-
the
yeah,
left
no,
side.
that's
that
the one he was
that
thinking
was the
of.
person
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
thinking of for
They both did play on the team.
Philadelphia.
That's correct.
But we do a little swap-a-roos with a certain team. So we give up a left defenseman in Enstrom and give up a right defenseman in Trouba. And we go over to...
That's a pretty big trade already.
These trades don't just happen overnight.
They're talking right now. Who's the other team?
Who's the other team? Tampa Bay. You get Anton Stroman on one side.
And Victor Hedman? Is that what you're going to say?
No. I might have said Victor Hedman.
Shut up. Get out of here. Yeah. Get out of here.
I could work. Are you kidding?
Andre Schuster.
Schuster would...
Age range, I think.
Who's the
Nesterov?
other... Nesterov, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh, speaking of Tampa in the World Cup.
It's not going to happen for a third-pairing defenseman. It's going to happen for a guy that can be top-pairing defenseman.
Well, Jacob Trouba has been a third-pairing defenseman.
Yeah, but Andre Schuster will never be more than a third.
I disagree with that. I think
great.
he's
You
know who he's better than, though? Radko Gudas.
Tampa had 12 players at the most. 12 players at the World Cup.
And they should have had 13.
Who's the
Tyler Johnson.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think
agree
he was
with that.
injured again.
I don't care.
No,
But-
he got passed over.
They also had a video coach, but only one of them is advancing to all of the finals.
Okay.
I forgot what player.
So, there's
Stamkos, my bad.
obviously one final thing. So, we'll go around the table here. Who do you think Jacob Trouba is going to be traded for, if he gets traded at all? Who would you like to see in a Jets uniform?
Out of everything I've heard, Cam Fowler or Lindholm, one of the two.
Damn it. Okay. I'll switch.
Either or. I'd let him sit. That's the vengeful side of me. Just say, you know what?
You know what?
Screw you, kid. Then you're sitting for you.
I'll go Jake Gardner. Because I was going to say Fowler. Oh, you're going to say... Okay, no, I'll switch mine then. I'll go...
We are terrible predictions.
I don't know.
It's not a true prediction if you'd make your prediction then have to change it because somebody else wanted your prediction.
No. You can go Gardner.
I'm just drawing blank on who...
Well, like, my other option
you know what?
would be like...
This is my guess.
Okay.
Not a Flyer, please. I don't... Not... Because they're going to be like, oh, Trouba. You know what? You can have the Voracek deal. You want a little more for you? Okay. 8.4, 35 years. They're like, you can't do that. They're like, no, pinky promise we'll re-up you every 8 years. I promise.
I kind of hope they let him sit. Just for a little bit.
I don't want to sit. I want a player. I want to see it.
Yeah.
I think my number one choice would be anybody from Anaheim. My number two choice would be Nathan Beaulieu from Montreal. I think a more realistic move would be something like Jake Gardner, a guy who has been in play for a while on the trade block. I could see Jake Gardner being mixed in with a prospect. I don't want to say it because he's already been traded once, but Kirby Reichel, just to get the opportunity maybe to come into our top
Who's the
nine.
guy with the hair, blonde guy?
William Nylander?
No. Like the shittier hair William Nylander. He played on team last year for a few games. Russian.
Soshnikov?
Yeah.
No.
No, I'm just saying.
No.
Soshnikov.
You know why? Because Soshnikov's going to be a top-scoring Leaf player, just like Sergei Berezin was. I'm going to fall in love with him, too.
Yeah, you're going to name your dogs after Soshnikov?
What
Sashi.
great
Sashi.
dog name. Sashi. And let's move to the World Cup, where TJ Scorshi, or Oshie, or Sochi.
TJ Sochi.
Sochi.
There you go.
And the rest of the USA team took on Canada.
Montreal.
Took on Canada. The team that was built to beat Canada. What did they do?
They lost.
They totally didn't beat Canada.
They did for a little bit. They were winning.
They were winning for about 3 minutes.
And then it all came crumbling down. Just like the Leafs did against Boston.
Yeah, they lost 4-2. Not really surprising. What was surprising was two players who formerly played in the USA
Hold on.
hockey program.
What? I never heard of this. What happened? Two former USA, like...
two alumni of the USA hockey program.
Alumni?
Not alumni, sorry, players.
Like, should have been on the team?
No, like...
Okay, you're doing a Greg thing. I get it. You're throwing me off.
I am. That's the point.
Phil Kessel tweeted something along the lines...
Wait, Phil Kessel wasn't on this team?
No, he was not.
How many points did he have in the playoffs? More than everyone else?
More than everyone else, and
And
he still didn't win the Conn Smythe.
The NHL hates Phil Kessel.
They do.
I'm just telling you.
It's all
So
play.
Phil Kessel tweeted, he's like, what did he tweet? Like, oh, hanging out with my dog tonight.
There was something
Yeah.
important I should have been doing, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah. Just hanging out with my dog. Feel like I should be doing something more important.
Effectively ending any chance he ever has of playing for Team USA ever again.
Whatever. That's fine.
And then there was another
I
player.
feel I just funny.
I forget the gentleman who he plays for, but the sledge hockey team, and he tweeted like, oh, I'm glad that I was born without legs because the men's stand-up team is not very good compared to the sit-down or like the.
He basically said the sledge hockey team is better than this.
He said he was glad he was born without legs because that's how bad this team was.
And
Holy crap!
Then Bobby Ryan also had something to say. He was mentioning that maybe he'll have a chance. Maybe in the next World Cup they'll just make an over 35 North America team so he can be a part of it because he won't be playing for Team USA.
Yeah,
and it really does. There's a lot of question marks. The issue with this team is they couldn't score. So, yeah, because Bobby Ryan's not known for scoring. Neither is Phil Kessel. Neither is Tyler fucking Johnson. I understand that Phil Kessel was injured, but I'm sure if he knew that this was a possibility for him to play, he would be playing it.
You know what? I'm surprised this tweet didn't originally come from Bobby Ryan because he got the shaft at the Olympics because they said they wanted to have a more defensive-minded team. And so because of that, I remember someone pulled out... No, they didn't. Remember, there was a writer who followed David Poyle and listened in on every call in regards to deciding the team, and it was a huge breakdown of how each player was decided and why they didn't take Jones and Trouba and all that. Blake Wheeler made it over Bobby Ryan because of his defensive awareness and his defensive abilities. They said, and then Brian Burke. Remember, Brian Burke said Bobby Ryan doesn't know how to spell defense or something along those lines, and so I'm surprised Bobby Ryan didn't go even harder at Team USA instead of just tweeting, replying to someone who asked him, oh, are you upset by not being chosen?
It was definitely a fail of a team because the second that they lost, there went all their chances of making the playoffs and making... really, this hasn't been a tournament. It's just been Canada dominating every team they played against.
It's Canada saying, hey... Even our guys on bench are better than your starters.
Team USA had a good top six, and then from there on out, it's pretty bad.
But no one could score because there was no chemistry on that team.
And it also doesn't help that, again, real quick, we talked about it, coaching decisions were insane. You don't bench players like Dustin Byfuglien. I understand why being, say, Babcock, you bench a player like Giroux over a player, you pick Ryan O'Reilly over Giroux, because, Ryan O'Reilly's going to be better at playing a defensive role than Giroux is. Yeah. That's just, we all know that. So,
but Canada has enough talent other than him.
Exactly.
Okay, so the three guys you named that weren't there, who were they?
Tyler Johnson, Bobby Ryan, and Phil Kessel.
That was great. Yeah.
I'd take any of those three over Justin Advocator, David Backus, Brandon Dubinsky, Ryan Kessler, James Van Riemsdyk, and probably Derek Stepan. I'd take any of those guys over any other.
I think Stepan and Backus, they're needed on that team.
Maybe, but
for grit, they're there to be guys to play against guys like Getzlav and Perry who grind you in the corners, and that's how you beat a team like that.
But Advocator, Dubinsky, Kessler,
there is
JVR, these guys are they're okay, but when you have to compete with Canada, that's not going to get done.
You got to take best of best. They thought they were the best. They obviously found out they were not. Although they weren't the worst team in the tournament, they finished 7th of 8th. 8th being Finland. Because rankings counts on goals for, and Finland did not score many of those.
They had 2 or 3.
I don't.
Because let's go to the next day, where Sweden took on North America in probably the most exciting.
I missed
overtime.
I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything.
So I didn't tune into this game until third period. There was about 5 minutes left. It was a 3-3 hockey game already. So I think what happened was North America was up 3-2. Sweden tied it, make 3-3. If I am incorrect, let me know. I'm fine with that. And then what happened was it went to overtime, 3-on-3. And who does Sweden put out for their 3-on-3? The Sedin brothers, along with Carlson. And then you have
that's you want a goal, so
I think it was Matthews along with McDavid and Riley on one line
to start.
Yeah, it was what it was. And then it just went back and forth. It ended by a full-on goal line to blue line breakaway pass to Henrik Sedin, and there was John Gibson making the biggest pad save of his career up to this point. Then it turned the other way. I think a crossbar was hit, a hard forecheck by McKinnon, and I think Goudreau was on the ice.
And Ghost.
But I think
Goudreau got the puck to him.
Yes, but it was McKinnon and Goudreau who forechecked, got the puck, then Goudreau threw it in front, and those...
No, it was a pass, like a half-board pass, and then McKinnon had, there was no D there. There was no D there. So he kind of went in and just made the both beautiful, toe drag. I was like, oh no! Backhand in.
And,
Morgan Riley was mic'd up, and it's so awesome.
I have yet to see that, actually.
Oh, it's great.
Best part was McKinnon thought they made playoffs.
Yeah.
They scored.
Actually, half of Team North America thought they made playoffs, but we don't get to that till the next day, where hearts were broken. Because that night, who played that night? That was Europe and Canada?
Yeah.
And Canada made quick work of Europe.
And then there was Russia and...
It was Russia and Finland the next day. Russia needed to lose in regulation for Team North America to have a chance at moving on. And unfortunately, Finland couldn't play spoiler, and Russia won. And you know what? Credit to them. They looked very good in that game, and they looked very motivated to be the team to play Canada and beat Canada in the semifinals. So semifinal 1 was set, and semifinal 2 was set before the last game was even played. And the last game was played for basically no reason. It was Czech Republic versus USA. And what happened?
Dustin Byfuglien tried to kill everybody. That's what happened.
And they still lost.
They did.
4-3.
But for Jets fans watching, Dustin Byfuglien pretty much controlled the whole game.
The
majority.
The announcers very much were talking about how
he was very
big of
noticeable.
an impact he is out there.
So, for Jets fans listening, that could be good.
But the fact that USA finishes 7th in the tournament, Finland finishes 8th. Granted, Finland is a very young team. Their average age was around 25. And don't forget, Jesse Puljujärvi wasn't even on this team. So things can only go up for them.
Sebastian Aho was.
Yeah.
Patrick Laine was a bit of a disappointment to me. He didn't... I get that the whole team didn't do a lot, but it would have been nice to see a little more from him.
Was it on this... I don't know if it was on this podcast that this was mentioned, or if it was just in a conversation I had. It seems that Patrick Laine is the type of guy who needs another player on his line.
It was said in the media somewhere that he's the kind of guy that if there's good guys around him, guys that give him the puck and good players around him, he does well. But on his own, he's not a Connor McDavid where he can do it all by himself.
Nothing's wrong with that either.
He doesn't make the players around him better, but players around him make him better.
Yes.
The right players. So he's essentially what every other sniper in the league is. You just put him with a very good centerman, and he'll succeed, kind of like what Phil Kessel needed throughout his career.
And it's still pretty early to make a judgment on him.
Exactly.
He's going to grow. He's going to learn to play in the NHL.
He's still not in his
18 years old.
body. Like, he's still growing.
I've been entertained by the tournament, but I think that if they do it again, they have to change the playoff format or something, because Team North America should not have missed the playoffs.
You know that? See,
I don't like how you play 2 games and you're out. They need to do
how they could have a play-in or something like that.
Whether the top 3 make the playoffs and the first team gets a bye and 2-3 play each other and then one plays the winner. Do that. But to me, Team North America deserve to be in the playoffs.
Or the top 5 teams make it. Regardless record, next 2 teams have a play-in, like, wild card game for that last spot.
Good.
And then you do it that way.
Or
you do what Dan was saying, and you take away the 3-game series for the finals and make it a 1-game.
Yeah.
Oh, just to make it shorter.
Make it 1.
And
don't have 3
preseason games per team.
Yeah.
Like 1 or 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was weird. I thought that. Yeah, the same length preseason.
Or next time they do it, if you want to make a real World Cup of hockey, do some of Europe, Team North America, then you got to have South America in there. You got to have Australia. You got to have most of Africa. It's not all of Africa.
America.
It's not all of Africa, just most of Africa. And then you got to have only East Asia. Not West Asia, just East Asia. What is East Asia, for those that don't know? That's mostly Russia.
I get scared when Greg starts talking about countries and stuff.
East Russia. No, East Asia.
You never know what's going to come out of his mouth.
This is the exact Russian team. Well, technically we are. Another suggestion would be the Stanley Cup champ team be a team.
That would be cool.
Well, think about it. The coach was there, and they had 11 representatives in this tournament, so why not? Hawks Camp, I follow a bunch of beat writers, and they're like, so Hawks Camp is kind of weird right now.
No Taves.
There's Oduya's here. like it's just like...
Well, Keith's hurt.
Why is Oduya
Oh,
there?
no, never mind. Not Oduya. Who's that other guy? I'm trying to think. Trevor Van Riemsdyk, maybe? Sorry, I should have just said
TVR?
defense. Yeah. But either way. All right, so what happened in the semifinals?
What happened in the semifinals? Well, the first one was last night, and that was Canada versus Russia. Unfortunately,
disappointed.
I missed a big portion of this game. because I was cooking burgers out at my friend's cottage. For
Oh
his
wow!
birthday.
What kind of burgers?
I don't know.
Were they
were
vegan?
burgers. No.
They handed
Were they
them to
animal
Greg,
friendly?
and Greg said, "Okay." Threw him on the grill.
Greg throws.
And the worst part about this grill, it was only like the back left corner that had any heat. The rest of the grill barely cooked.
So you cook 2 at a time.
Cooked basically 2 at a time. It was
Fine.
yeah.
And then you leave them on the top burners.
There was no top burner.
And then Greg
no.
realized that he had to turn the other burners on after.
Yeah. That's an issue. That's an issue.
It was a 2-man job.
Yeah. You got the heat controller.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got the flipper.
Never too many.
But nonetheless, at one point I saw it was 2-1, and I was kind of nervous. And then all of a sudden, it was like 5-2, and I'm like, no. I'm
You know
worried.
what? I was on Team Russia hard for this. No
'Cause
surprise there.
You hate Canada.
I don't hate Canada. I'm just tired of the dominance of Canada. The only time I'm never
I
tired
agree.
of Canada dominating.
It's World Juniors.
Yeah, I'll never get tired of that.
Okay,
ever.
fair enough.
I do hop on like not the miracle, but like it's like, oh, Kazakhstan. I'm like, maybe they'll get a goal today.
Especially for a tournament like this, where the country doesn't really mean anything, considering that there's a North American team, there's a European team.
North American team is
Country means
great.
very little.
And one thing I did notice, I know it was probably just me being biased, but like there was a lot of like, I'm gonna look the other way and let you hit a guy for Canada. Like they got a lot of freebies. That like Russia got a few freebies, but Canada got quite a few freebies in yesterday's game. I'm sure I'm just being biased because I wanted Russia to win, but man, there were a few like Logan Couture straight up. I don't know which defenseman it was. Hit him. Just hit the D-man, cleared the lane, and it was the 4th goal. Just right on in. And that was a penalty. And I was like, that's penalty! Penalty! And then they scored, and I'm just sitting there like, said some nice words. And then I went and I made the mistake of rewinding and watching it again and making myself more mad.
So,
Never,
who would you
never.
rather
Yeah.
have in your finals? Canada in Toronto or Russia versus Europe
Russia,
in
Europe.
Toronto?
Spoiler
I had
alert,
just mentioned.
you just ruined the...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
semifinal.
wake the people up who had to sit through that snorefest
Today?
of Sweden, Team Europe.
It went to
It
overtime.
was a great game. Did you not watch it?
You know what?
I loved that game.
I'm
So
with Cam.
slow.
I'm tired of Canada winning. I want Team Europe to win.
I think everyone's
Fuck
on
it.
Team Europe.
Why not?
As long as they don't wear those two-tone jerseys
They
and they
have
wear their
to.
white ones. No,
That's their home
they're-
jersey.
They're not home.
It's best of 3, though.
It's
it's best
yeah.
of 3.
Each team gets one.
Is there a
and-
bronze medal game or no? Is
No.
it just best of 3 for the final?
Just best of 3 for the trophy.
So-
I forget even what it looks like.
It looks like a big tissue box. That's
Oh,
what it looks like.
Halak
Nice.
was
The tissue box.
Halak was in net for Europe. Henrik Lundqvist was in net for Sweden. Head to head. Hold on. I'm gonna make sure I get this stat correct so I don't hurt anyone's feelings.
Halak versus Lundqvist?
Yaroslav Halak in his last 9 games against Henrik Lundqvist. 9-0.
Oh, wow.
9-0!
Nice.
Henrik Lundqvist! Yaroslav Halak! Oh.
It's because you hate the Rangers, eh?
What?
You hate the
No,
Rangers.
no. I'm just saying, like, you'd think, like, Halak, like, I don't have a very high... I don't think Halak's that great. But then again,
enough.
hey, we get to relive, hey, old buddies get to play each other again.
Yeah, but
Price versus Halak.
Again.
Islanders that have been a good team last couple of years.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm not, like, I just, for some reason
That-
in my
that
head,
is a
I
good
don't think
stat, though.
Halak's a great goalie. But obviously he's proving me wrong. Like, I know he's a great goalie. Just something in the back of my head, like, I'm still stuck in certain eras where, like, when I'm watching the Avalanche, I'm like, yeah, well, okay. I mean, they're good. They could be, and they're good. Because I remember growing up, they were just so good that, like, I watched them, and then I kind of, mini hipster Cam was like, I don't want to cheer for Colorado anymore. They're too good. They're too good.
When you have
And now
Paul
you almost
Correa
forget they
and
were
Teemu
good.
Slani.
And you know what?
on
I
your
totally
team.
forgot
And
today
Joe
when
Sakic.
I was watching the celebration after Thomas Tatar kicked the puck in. Kicked the puck in. That was a kick.
They reviewed it.
Was
They
not a
reviewed
kick.
it. Not,
It was not
a
a kick.
You tell me that's not a kick.
It was not a
That's
kick.
Emotion. Hey, I was on Team Europe. I was cheering. I forgot Paulie Momo. He's the coach.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
head coach.
No, assistant coach.
Oh, I saw him from like the bench come. I'm like, Paulie Momo? What? I totally
Out
forgot.
of all the Jets personnel that went, he went farthest.
Who knew? Who would have thought?
I know, right?
Who would have thunk?
Nobody.
Nobody thought it because
Wait,
it
who's
was
the assistant
33 to
coach of
1.
the Jets? I want to make a sign for the game on Tuesday.
It's the new guy they hired.
Yeah, we
Who
suck.
are you?
From Portland Winterhawks. He was their coach the last couple of years.
We suck at this.
We do suck.
What kind of
We never-
podcast are we?
We never remember
All
the
right,
assistant
so
coaches.
game 1, 2, and 3. If there's 3 needed, we'll go Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
They're really dragging this thing out, eh?
Yeah. What do you
Just
think?
do one and done.
Oh, yeah, the players coming back, like, I guess, like, Patrick Kane and a few other players are taking their time, like, coming back to camp, not, like, I guess the NHL is like, no, you can take some time off.
Well, I don't think Blake Wheeler or Dustin Buffalo have come back to Jets camp yet, and they were done on Thursday.
Yeah, well, take some time, why not? Okay,
We're
all Team Europe, hypothetically.
In a 3-game series, though, no.
Canada's not going to lose.
No.
This is over on Thursday.
If it was one game...
Okay, you know what? Let's
maybe.
do it this way. In this 3-game series, we'll say it's going to be 2. Canada, over-under, combined goals, 10. Over or under in these 2 games.
In 2
got to do
games?
10.5. 10.5 or 9.5.
Fine, 10.5.
10.5?
Yeah. Over 10.5 or under 10.5?
Under.
Under just.
They'll score
9.
8.
9.
They'll win the first game 4-1, second game 4-2.
I'm going to say one of them's the thumping. I'm going to say over.
Over?
I will take
A 7-1 game.
I'm going to take... I'm expecting a 6-2 and like a 5-1.
4-1.
Okay. Yeah, that's about what I figured it'd be.
And they also had, like, bums like Claude Giroux in the lineup, so, like, really...
What a useless
I'm
POS that guy
going
is.
to choose to ignore those comments and take the higher road.
It's almost
You know if they lose
It's almost
this
like
year-
he has the most points in the NHL in the last 6 years or something.
Yeah. You know if they lose, it'll be the first time they lost a best-on-best tournament, like, because they won the last 2 Olympics, and you know who wasn't on either of those teams? Claude Giroux. And so it'd be all Claude Giroux's fault if they lose.
Is it?
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Even
sure,
if he's not playing, it's all his fault.
I'm pretty sure I saw a stat that said Jonathan Taves all-time in team playing for Team Canada, he's 45-1-1.
Fact.
I could be wrong,
Yeah, nope,
but
I have that saved.
I'm
That's a
pretty
fact.
sure he's 45-1-1
That is-
playing for Team Canada.
Wearing a Team Canada jersey.
Juniors, Olympics,
since he was 16.
World Cup, anything.
Hold on. I know Greg's laughing because that's insane. Every team he's been on has been like a superstar team. I'd expect nothing less
Sorry,
of him.
47-3-0.
Oh.
I don't know where I saw 45.
I did see the 45-1-1.
Maybe
though.
that's
I
just in the
saw that
last
too.
like
Yeah.
47 games.
Yeah, 47-3. Mm-hmm. That's something.
You never hear about teams going 47-3. Yeah.
Yeah, you see players have crazy stats.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's
Way
that's a doozy.
Cool.
Oh, signings. We'll wrap them up with signings, I guess. Thomas Steen, 4 years, 23 mil, 575.
Thomas Steen's coming back. Nice.
No, Thomas Steen's, yeah.
You mean Alex
Alex.
Steen.
Nice catch, okay.
Big contract.
And then we got Dmitry Orlov, 1 year, 2.57 million. And then, other than that, notables are injuries. Clark MacArthur, Mark Stone, concussions. Bobby Ryan jumped a guy in practice.
I
who gave
saw that.
MacArthur. That was clean. Like, that wasn't dirty hit.
Blindside hit though.
Yeah, well.
Questionable. Standing for your teammate.
Questionable. Yes.
When a guy from this guy came up from the AHL, he's trying to make the team, but
Yep.
you know if you feel he's taking a run at one of your guys who missed all last year with concussion problems.
Oh, true. Matt Murray, 3 to 6 weeks with a broken hand. So Fleury said he's ready to take the load, and I'm like, oh, are you ready? Cause,
What load? Like 2 games?
yeah, pretty much.
Well, no, because we all know Fleury can play well in the season. It's just when it comes down to playoffs.
It's true. He did play most of the year last year.
He is a very formidable goalie. He's good. It's not like he's a shitty goalie.
Just not when it's golf season. He
Yeah.
wants to golf.
Yeah,
Or do
exactly.
whatever flowers do. Frank Vetrano.
He wants to bloom.
Yeah, there you go. 3 months, torn ligaments in his left foot.
Who?
Don't know who that is.
Frank Vetrano, number 72 for the Boston Bruins.
Oh, good.
How dare you guys?
Do you have a goldfish?
Do I have a goldfish?
Yeah, I'm just
No.
wondering because those are things I don't care about. That injury and your goldfish.
Well, I named
Ouch.
it anyways. Okay, I don't have a goldfish.
Yeah, exactly.
Nolan Patrick's officially been named the...
Number 1 consensus by literally every scout.
Yeah.
And
So,
we saw him play.
Is it deemed the Patrick's Parade?
It's Patrick's Parade this year.
Patrick's Parade?
Patrick's Parade?
Nolan Patrick's Day.
Yeah. Nolan Patrick's Day is another one?
No,
well,
it's
that'll be
Patrick's
the
Parade.
day of the draft, Nolan Patrick's
Yeah.
Day. Don't get hurt, Nolan, please. Please.
Does Brandon have a chance this year? I know that we talked about this earlier.
Okay. You have an okay chance. Oh, guys! The number 1 ranked WHL team, Victoria!
Yeah.
Sniped
You
it.
sniped that one.
Did it.
I'll go watch
Things
a
that
Royals
Greg
game.
doesn't care about. That's something I don't care about.
Wow.
It's just, you don't care?
I don't know.
Hashtag-
I just don't
didn't
follow
care.
junior
No
hockey
one cares,
that much,
Cam.
so.
I didn't care.
No,
I don't
no
know.
one cares.
There's going to be hashtag IDUNKERR.
Cam, there's wrestling on. I mean, that's
Yeah, we got
There's
stuff.
wrestling.
Okay, bring us home, Greg. Make sure you do it as happy as you can be.
as happy as I can
This
be.
was
Oh, wait, hold on.
We were
I
angry.
did this to Greg earlier. Dan, you want to help me find? Can you look over there and just look for that? Just look for something over there. I'm going to go look in the closet over here. Oh, what's this? Oh, no losses over here. Are there losses over there? Minnesota Vikings, Philadelphia Eagles, undefeated. Buckle
That's
up.
true.
Buckle
That's
up. Greg, how the
That
Falcons
trade was
doing?
the best trade in the world.
How the Falcons doing, Greg? Have
They
they won a
haven't played
game?
yet this week.
Have they won a game this
Yeah,
week?
they have.
Oh, good.
Not this week.
I
No,
will
but I
say-
saw the stat. It was like when teams go like 0-3, your chances
All I
are
will say,
greatly diminished.
Thank you, Teddy Bridgewater, because Sam Bradford leaving was the best thing that happened to both teams.
It's great. It's Sammy Bradford. He threw a pass today, at least one.
He got a touchdown.
He got a running touchdown?
No, it's passing.
Oh, yeah, no. I was like, well, I didn't see him run
Bradford is
today.
very average, but he can be slightly above average.
All the Vikings need are average. Their defense is amazing. This is a hockey podcast. Do you have a hockey joke going on right now?
I can't.
Hey, how much does a polar bear weigh?
Enough to break the ice.
There you go. Nailed it. All right, we got to bring her home.
If you want to listen to more terrible jokes, check out our other podcasts, all on YouTube. And the way you can find that is Last Man In Podcast. Search that in your YouTube search bar, and that's how you find us, on YouTube. However, if you're listening to this on your phone that's not on YouTube, we're on Apple, iTunes.
Other things. For
iTunes.
Sure.
Look up Last
Just
Man In
find
Podcast on anywhere you look for podcasts. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, Last Man In PC is where you can find us. Same with our email. You want to email the show, lastmaninpc@gmail.com, and we'll talk about it on air if Cam doesn't forget about it.
I didn't check emails or comments today, actually.
Next week.
Next week.
Always next week.
Mail it.
Here we go. Give your homework if you made it this far. Tweet at us or email us your worst jokes you got.
Send us
Family-friendly worst
your
jokes.
Jacob Trouba trades.
Ooh, there you go.
How about
That'll
that?
keep us busy. All right. See you in a little bitsy.
Next week. Why did you say bitsy?
See you in a jiff.